In the bustling city of Leon, Mexico, where luxury and philanthropy collide, a young millionaire named Ruben finds himself at a crossroads between opulence and compassion. Amidst a glittering architectural event dedicated to social causes, Ruben's heart is unexpectedly touched by a desperate scene outside a beggar with a newborn baby, drenched in the rain. Without a second thought, he gives her the keys to his home, determined to make a difference. However, as Ruben returns to his father's house, his selfless act takes an unforeseen turn. What seemed like a gesture of pure kindness quickly evolves into a heart-wrenching crisis that will test the limits of empathy and human connection. Stay tuned to uncover the full story of Ruben's remarkable journey from hope to heartbreak and witness the profound impact of a simple act of generosity. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. On a storm-ridden day in Leon, Mexico, a young millionaire named Ruben embarked on his journey to a pivotal architectural gala, the day's tumult mirroring the inner strife that had recently engulfed his life. The city was drenched in a relentless downpour, its gray skies reflecting the personal turmoil Ruben had been grappling with. As he made his way through the opulent hallways of one of the nation's most prestigious architectural events, the stark contrast between the luxurious surroundings and the harsh reality he had recently faced was both jarring and poignant. This high-profile evening, designed to celebrate the pinnacle of architectural achievement, was ultimately meant to support a noble cause, raising essential funds for social housing projects aimed at providing homes for those in need. The event was a spectacle of extravagance and high society, adorned with glittering displays and adorned with the elite of the architectural world. Amidst this opulent display, Ruben celebrated as a prodigious talent in his field and found himself both a part of and apart from the grandiosity surrounding him. The evening, while brimming with prestige and influence, was deeply rooted in its mission to channel significant financial support toward the realization of visionary plans meant to improve the lives of the less fortunate. Despite the grandeur, the true essence of the night was to unite the wealthy and influential in their commitment to social betterment. Ruben, known for his remarkable architectural achievements, navigated the event with a sense of profound introspection. The whispers and murmurs surrounding him spoke of a man whose demeanor had shifted dramatically after the devastating loss of his young wife in a tragic accident. His commitment to caring for his ailing father had only deepened his emotional burden. To many, Ruben seemed aloof and emotionally detached, a stark contrast to the vibrant and successful figure he once was. Yet, those who took the time to understand his situation saw through the veneer of indifference, recognizing his cold exterior as a shield he used to cope with the overwhelming grief and responsibility. As Ruben moved through the crowd, he was greeted by Sandra, a towering and respected figure in the world of architecture. Known for her profound expertise and groundbreaking contributions to the field, Sandra's presence was as formidable as it was respected. With a penetrating gaze and a tone filled with sincere admiration, Sandra addressed Ruben. "It's truly extraordinary to see someone of your stature here tonight. I've heard of your unwavering dedication to caring for your father despite the demands of your career. That is truly admirable and speaks volumes about your character." Ruben responded with a polite smile and a nod, though he couldn't shake the sense of alienation he felt amid the superficiality of the event. Sensing Ruben's discomfort, Sandra offered a perceptive observation. Events like these can often be more about appearances than substance, yet they sometimes reveal deeper truths. What is it that truly motivates you to attend this gala, Ruben? It seems your presence here is driven by something beyond mere professional networking. Ruben's smile softened into a wistful expression as he responded, "My attendance here is driven more by a sense of duty and obligation than by personal ambition or desire. My life has always been shaped by more than just the world of architecture. It has been profoundly influenced by the personal struggles and life lessons I have learned through caring for my father. This commitment has given me a perspective that extends beyond the confines of professional success, revealing the true essence of what matters most to me. Ruben took a moment to pause, his mind drifting back to the challenging days of his past. With a voice laced with emotion, he began, "My father, despite the hardships we faced, always managed to find ways to extend a helping hand to those around him. He was a man of humble means, yet his heart was boundless. He raised me single-handedly, and every sacrifice he made was a profound lesson in resilience and generosity." For me, Sandra, her eyes reflecting deep respect, listened intently. It's truly rare to encounter someone who retains such noble values. Especially after achieving the level of success you have. Your father must be an extraordinary individual. "He is," Ruben responded, his gaze glowing with pride. "He dedicated himself to supporting us in every way possible, from repairing things for neighbors to offering private tutoring. He always emphasized that a person's greatest wealth isn't measured by material possessions, but by the impact they have on others." Sandra nodded, her understanding deepening as she absorbed Ruben's words. "That explains so much about who you are, Ruben, and how you navigate both your life and career. Many in this room could indeed learn from your example." Ruben returned Sandra's smile with gratitude. "I simply strive to live in a manner that honors my father's legacy. He taught me that the true architecture of life is about building bridges between people, fostering spaces of empathy, understanding, and support." Sandra's smile broadened with genuine admiration. Her journey had begun in simplicity, and her ascent to one of the profession's highest echelons was a testament to her hard work. Yet beneath her accolades, there lingered a trace of melancholy in her eyes. She had never married, and that aspect of her life remained a deeply personal and reserved space. After the event, Ruben made his way home, a sanctuary that had become a refuge far beyond its physical walls. As he arrived, he found his father, who now resided with him due to his declining health, engrossed in a late-night television program. Despite his health challenges, Mr. Gonzalo maintained a spirited and inquisitive mind. "How did the event go, my son?" he asked, his eyes reflecting genuine curiosity. "We raised a substantial amount. The event was a success, despite the pretense of those who elevate themselves through their wealth. It was productive. I even had a meaningful discussion with Sandra about the critical role our work plays in society," Ruben replied, taking a seat beside his father. After their conversation, Ruben stood up and made his way to the kitchen. "I'm going to prepare something for us to eat. Is there anything you'd like in particular?" he called out over his shoulder. "Anything will do, son. Don't trouble yourself too much." His father responded with a warm, appreciative smile. Later, as Ruben assisted his father in preparing for bed, he shared his plans for the following day. "Dad, tomorrow morning I need to travel for a meeting regarding a new project. I'll make sure everything is organized here, and Mrs. Martinez has promised to check in on you." Mr. Gonzalo, comfortably settled in bed, looked at his son with deep affection. "You're a good son, Ruben. Go and take care of your responsibilities. I'm proud of you." Mr. Gonzalo had weathered countless adversities throughout his life. After Ruben's mother left them, he assumed the immense burden of raising his son alone. Despite facing significant financial challenges, he always prioritized Ruben's education, believing it to be the key to a brighter future. Every penny he earned was devoted to his son's academic growth. With unwavering determination and hard work, Ruben seized every learning opportunity, eventually becoming the esteemed architect he is today. Even after reaching the heights of his career, he never forgot his father's sacrifices, continuously standing by him and caring for him with the same love and gratitude he had been shown as a child. The next morning, Ruben awoke before dawn, his thoughts already consumed by the significance of the day ahead. He meticulously prepared himself, selecting an elegant suit that spoke of both his success and the importance of the upcoming meeting in a neighboring city. As he walked towards his car, the heavens opened and a torrential downpour began to cascade from the darkened sky. The driver, accustomed to Ruben's punctuality and habits, was waiting patiently. "It looks like we're in for some challenging weather on the road, Mr. Ruben," he remarked, observing the sheets of rain drenching the city. The journey to the neighboring city was fraught with delays as the rain turned the streets into a chaotic maze of traffic. Ruben's car crept through the congestion, the relentless pounding of rain against the windshield providing a rhythmic backdrop to his thoughts about the crucial meeting ahead. However, his focus was suddenly shattered by a heart-wrenching scene that unfolded by the roadside. There, amidst the downpour, stood a woman clearly impoverished, clutching a tiny, helpless newborn in her arms. Her desperate attempt to shield the infant from the relentless rain was a striking image of vulnerability and despair that tugged at Ruben's heartstrings. Without a moment's hesitation, Ruben instructed the driver, "Stop the car immediately. I need to assist that woman." The driver, fully aware of Ruben's compassionate nature, voiced his concern. "Sir, you'll get drenched and your suit might be ruined. We still have a pressing meeting to attend." Ruben's resolve was unwavering. "I don't care about my suit or the delay. That woman and her baby need help right now." He threw open the car door and stepped into the torrential downpour, his finely tailored suit quickly becoming soaked through. As he approached the distressed woman, Ruben called out, "Can I assist you? You and your baby can't stay here in this storm. Do you have somewhere safe to go?" The woman, shielding her daughter as best she could, responded with a mix of fear and resignation, "No, we have no place to go." Though she refrained from elaborating on her plight, Ruben felt a profound urgency to act. Racing back to the car through the drenching rain, he instructed the driver to open the glove compartment. He retrieved a bundle of keys from within and hurried back to the woman. "May I ask your name?" he asked, his voice cutting through the roar of the rain. "Consuelo," she replied, drawing her daughter closer in a futile attempt to shield her from the storm. "Consuelo, these are the keys to my father's house. It's close by. He's currently living with me, so the house is vacant. You and your daughter can stay there until you're safe," Ruben offered, pressing the keys into her trembling hands. "I must leave now for an important meeting, but my driver will escort you to the house. Please stop at the market along the way and get everything you need: food, clothing, diapers, whatever you require." The driver, fully aware of Ruben's generous spirit, nodded with determination. "Leave it to me, Mr. Ruben. I'll ensure everything is taken care of." As Ruben watched the driver assist Consuelo into the car and prepare to depart, he turned resolutely towards the rain-slicked streets, ready to make the journey to his meeting on foot, driven by the knowledge that he had made a meaningful difference in someone's life amidst the chaos of the storm. After bidding farewell to Ruben, the driver turned his attention back to Consuelo, who was still huddling with her baby under a flimsy shelter from the rain. Approaching her with a gentle demeanor, he said, "Don't be afraid. I'm here to take you to a safe place. Mr. Ruben wants to help you and your little one." Consuelo's eyes, filled with a mixture of fear and skepticism, darted to the driver. "I don't know you. I've seen stories on TV about people who are not who they seem. I can't just trust anyone like this," she said, clutching her daughter tightly. Sensing her apprehension, the driver sought to allay her fears. "I understand your concerns, but please believe me when I say Mr. Ruben is a genuinely compassionate person. His only intention is to assist you." To underscore his sincerity, he pulled out his wallet and showed her several photographs of his own family. "Look, I'm also a father. I've worked with Mr. Ruben for many years and I can vouch for his kindness. He's a man who deeply cares about others." Consuelo studied the photographs and the driver's earnest expression. Though still cautious, she began to feel a glimmer of hope that this might indeed be a genuine opportunity for safety. With a deep breath, she decided to trust the driver. Carefully, she climbed into the car, making sure her daughter was protected from the elements. The driver then proceeded to take them to Ruben's father's house, making a stop at the market along the way to purchase essential items like food and diapers for the baby. Upon their arrival at the house, Ruben's father, Mr. Gonzalo, greeted them with warmth and kindness. "Welcome. Please, make yourselves at home," he said, his voice soothing. "There's food in the kitchen, and I'm sure you'll find everything you need here." Consuelo, deeply moved by the unexpected generosity, expressed her gratitude. "Thank you so much. I'm not sure how I can ever repay you for this kindness." Mr. Gonzalo, who had weathered many personal trials throughout his life, responded with comforting words. "There's no need to worry about repayment. Helping each other in times of need is what we do. Just focus on taking care of yourself and your baby. That's all we ask." As Mr. Gonzalo prepared for bed, and he found himself reflecting on his son's extraordinary act of kindness. Ruben's actions, driven by genuine compassion and empathy, were a profound testament to the values Mr. Gonzalo had instilled in him. He had always believed that true wealth lay not in material possessions but in one's capacity to offer help and support to others. The evening left Mr. Gonzalo with a deep sense of pride and reflection. Ruben's empathy and generosity were more than just characteristics, they were core aspects of his identity, shaped by the lessons learned from a lifetime of struggle and sacrifice. Mr. Gonzalo's thoughts lingered on the remarkable act of charity he had witnessed and the powerful lesson it represented regardless of one's success or wealth. The essence of a person's true worth is found in their ability to show kindness and support to those in need. Ruben sat in the car, gazing out the window as the rain pounded relentlessly against the glass. His mind was consumed with thoughts of Consuelo and her baby, grappling with the weight of his decision to help them. He hoped that the gesture had provided them some solace and safety. The turmoil of the day had left him feeling both hopeful and apprehensive. As Ruben arrived home, the house was quiet, but he was quickly met by Mrs. Ramirez, the caregiver who had been looking after his father in his absence. Her demeanor was unusually tense, and she had an air of urgency about her. "Mr. Ruben," she began, her voice tinged with concern, "I have some unexpected news. Your father, Mr. Gonzalo, took a copy of your house keys and went to your other house shortly after you left. He said he wanted to spend a few days there because he was feeling a bit better and was getting bored." Ruben's eyes widened with alarm. "He went alone? I knew he shouldn't have done that," he said, his voice laced with worry. He could hardly believe that his father would take such a risk without informing him. Mrs. Ramirez, sensing his rising anxiety, quickly added, "Yes, he went alone. He waited until you left because he knew you wouldn't have approved otherwise. He seemed determined and assured me that he felt well enough to be by himself for a few days." Ruben's concern for his father intensified. The notion of his elderly, ailing father alone at the house where Consuelo and her daughter were staying created a gnawing sense of dread. Without delay, Ruben instructed the driver to take him to the house immediately. The car sped through the rain-soaked streets, each minute feeling like an eternity as his anxiety mounted. When Ruben finally reached the house, the sight that greeted him was jarring. The door was ajar, and an ambulance was parked outside. His heart pounded violently in his chest as he saw paramedics wheeling his father onto a stretcher. The sight was terrifying, and panic surged through him. He rushed inside, pushing past the onlookers and medical personnel, and approached the paramedics with a voice strained with fear. "I'm his son. What happened? Is he okay?" he demanded, his words tumbling out in a frantic rush. One of the paramedics looked up with a solemn expression. "Mr. Gonzalo had a fall and sustained some injuries. We're taking him to the hospital for further evaluation and treatment." Ruben's heart sank. The thought of his father being hurt and in need of medical attention filled him with profound worry and guilt. As the stretcher was loaded into the ambulance, Ruben's mind raced with questions and concerns. He realized that in his effort to help others, he had inadvertently put his father's safety at risk. With a heavy heart, Ruben climbed into the ambulance with his father, feeling the weight of the day's events pressing down on him. As they drove towards the hospital, he struggled to reconcile the seemingly contradictory elements of his life, his desire to help those in need, while grappling with the responsibility of caring for his own family. The journey ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but Ruben was determined to be there for his father, no matter the cost. The doctor's voice was steady and composed as he turned to face Ruben. "Your father has suffered a stroke," he said gently, his tone reassuring despite the gravity of the news. "Fortunately, Mrs. Gonzalo was here and acted swiftly. She called for the ambulance right away, which made all the difference. Her quick action likely saved his life." Ruben was engulfed by a tempest of emotions: relief that his father was still alive, profound gratitude for Consuelo's timely intervention, and a deep, gnawing fear of what could have transpired if not for her. He followed the stretcher to the ambulance with a steely resolve, determined to remain by his father's side through this critical juncture. As the doctor guided the stretcher into the vehicle, Ruben watched, his hands trembling slightly despite his efforts to stay composed. Once the ambulance had departed, Ruben turned his attention to Consuelo and her daughter. The day's events had left him shaken, and his concern was palpable, though he tried to mask it with a calm demeanor. "Consuelo, I'm at a loss for words. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done. The doctor even mistook you for my wife," Ruben said, attempting a weak smile to break the tension that hung in the air. Consuelo, recognizing the depth of the situation, responded with quiet humility. "Mr. Ruben, there's no need for thanks. I simply did what anyone would do in my place. I was fortunate to be here when it mattered." Ruben's gaze fell upon the modest groceries Consuelo had purchased, and he realized they were only the most necessities. "I see you've only bought the essentials. Please don't feel restricted. You could have taken more if you needed it. I want to make sure you and your daughter have everything you require," he said with genuine concern. Consuelo's eyes, reflecting a mixture of gratitude and a hint of joy, met his. "I didn't want to overstep my bounds. Your generosity has already been more than enough," she replied, her voice soft but sincere. A moment of poignant silence enveloped them, and Ruben felt a profound human connection with Consuelo. The weight of the day had fostered an unexpected bond between them. "Consuelo, I would very much like to understand more about you and your daughter, about how you came to be in this situation. If you're comfortable sharing, I'd truly like to listen and offer any help I can," Ruben said, his voice filled with empathy and genuine curiosity. Consuelo's expression softened, touched by Ruben's sincere offer. The hardships they had both faced had woven an invisible thread of empathy and understanding between them, and in that moment, Ruben's desire to connect and support her shone brightly amidst the chaos of the day. Consuelo took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting a lifetime of hardship as she began to share her story. "I never knew my mother," she said softly. "I grew up with a father who was more of a stranger than a parent. He drank too much and was hardly ever present. His absence made my childhood lonely and challenging." Her gaze fell to her daughter, who clung to her, and then back to Ruben. "I wanted to go to school, to learn and find a way out of our situation, but my father never supported it. I would read and study in secret after he had passed out from drinking, dreaming of a life beyond our dire circumstances." Consuelo paused, her eyes clouded with the memories of those dark times. "As the years went by, things only got worse. My father's drinking worsened, and I tried my best to help him, but he was too far gone. He was a harsh man who frightened me most of the time." Her voice grew softer as she continued. "One day I met someone who seemed kind and perfect. We were together for a while, and when I became pregnant, I felt a glimmer of hope. I thought that maybe I would finally have the family I'd always dreamed of." Consuelo's eyes filled with tears, but as soon as he found out about the pregnancy, he vanished. I never saw him again. When my father found out, he was furious. He didn't even give me a chance to explain. He kicked me out of the house with nothing but the clothes on my back. Ruben's concern deepened as he asked, "How did you manage to survive after that?" Consuelo's voice trembled as she continued, "I begged for money and lived on the streets. When my daughter was born, the people I encountered on the streets helped me. It was terrifying, and I was mistrustful of everyone and everything, but I had to stay strong for her." Ruben looked at Consuelo with profound admiration, seeing not only the deep pain, but also the extraordinary resilience in her eyes. "Consuelo, you are incredibly strong. Your story is one of immense struggle and bravery. It's clear you fought hard for your daughter and yourself." Consuelo nodded, her gaze steady despite the weight of her experiences. "I've done what I could to give her a chance at a better life. And meeting Mr. Gonzalo and receiving your help, it's more than I ever expected. I'm just grateful to have found a safe place for us." Ruben reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You've shown incredible courage, and I'm grateful you're here. Please make yourself and your daughter comfortable. We'll work to ensure you have everything you need, and I'm here to support you in any way I can." Consuelo offered a small, grateful smile, her heart touched by Ruben's kindness and understanding. The connection they had formed through their shared compassion and humanity was a testament to the power of empathy and support in even the most challenging of circumstances. As Ruben settled into the hospital chair beside his father's bed, he took a deep breath and began recounting the events of the previous day. The room was quiet, except for the steady beeping of the heart monitor and the soft hum of the hospital environment. "Dad," Ruben started, his voice gentle but filled with emotion, "I need to tell you about what happened after you left the house. Consuelo, the woman and her daughter who were staying at our place, was the one who called for help when you had the stroke." "Mr. Gonzalo's eyes widened slightly, a mixture of curiosity and concern in his gaze. Ruben continued, his voice steady despite the memories of the day's events. "Consuelo and her daughter were living on the streets. She's faced unimaginable hardship. Her father was a drunkard who abandoned her dreams, and the father of her child left her alone when she needed him the most. She's been struggling just to get by, and yet she's managed to remain strong for her daughter." Ruben paused, looking at his father, who was listening intently. "When she saw you in distress, she didn't hesitate to call for help. She was the one who got you the medical attention you needed. If it weren't for her quick thinking, things might have been much worse." "Mr. Gonzalo nodded slowly, absorbing the gravity of Ruben's words. "It sounds like she's been through so much, and yet she was there when I needed her," he said, his voice filled with a sense of awe and gratitude. Ruben nodded. "Yes, she's an incredible woman. She didn't ask for anything in return. She only wanted to make sure you were okay. And despite everything she's been through, she still managed to find hope and strength." "Mr. Gonzalo's eyes grew thoughtful. "It seems that both of you have faced your share of challenges and have found a way to help each other in this time of need. It's remarkable how people can come together and support one another." Ruben smiled softly, feeling a sense of connection and understanding with his father. "It is. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is light and kindness to be found. I'm grateful for the chance to help her, and I'm grateful she was there for you." As Ruben spoke, he could see the pride and emotion in his father's eyes. "You've done well, Ruben. I'm proud of you for showing such compassion and kindness. It's a testament to the values we've always cherished." Ruben's eyes softened with gratitude. "Thank you, Dad. I've learned a lot from you. Helping Consuelo and seeing her resilience has reminded me of what matters." With a sense of resolve, Ruben continued to sit by his father's bed, sharing stories and offering support. The conversation, filled with reflection and understanding, was a testament to the strength of human connection and the enduring impact of kindness in times of hardship. Consuelo looked at Ruben with a mixture of surprise and deep emotion. "This is a lot to take in, Ruben. I'm truly grateful for your generosity. It's more than I could have ever hoped for." Ruben nodded, his expression earnest. "I understand it's a big step, but I believe it could be a positive change for all of us. My father would benefit from the companionship, and you and your daughter would have a secure and supportive environment." Consuelo's eyes filled with tears, and she took a moment to compose herself. "I've never had anything like this before. The idea of having a stable home and being able to contribute in some way feels like a dream. I want to make sure I can truly be a positive presence and not just a burden." Ruben reached out and gently touched her hand. "You're not a burden. You've shown incredible strength and resilience. I believe this could be a fresh start for you and a meaningful addition to our lives." Consuelo took a deep breath, considering the offer. "I'll need to think about it and discuss it with my daughter. But I want you to know how much this means to me. It's not just about the home, it's about the hope and kindness you've shown." Ruben smiled warmly. "Of course. Take the time you need. And whatever you decide, know that I'm here to support you. This isn't just about moving into a house, it's about building a supportive community where we all can thrive." Consuelo nodded, her expression softening with gratitude. "Thank you, Ruben. I'll discuss this with my daughter and get back to you soon." Ruben stood up, feeling a sense of hope and fulfillment from the conversation. "I'll be here whenever you're ready. Take care, Consuelo." As Ruben left the house, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The prospect of bringing Consuelo and her daughter into his home seemed like a promising step toward creating a nurturing environment for both his father and Consuelo's family. He hoped that this new arrangement would bring joy, stability, and mutual support to everyone involved. Over the next few days, Ruben awaited Consuelo's decision with anticipation. When she finally contacted him, she expressed her agreement to the proposal, having discussed it thoroughly with her daughter. The move was arranged smoothly, and soon Consuelo and her daughter were settled into their new home. Ruben's father, delighted by the new arrangement, welcomed Consuelo and her daughter warmly. The house, once quiet and lonely, was now filled with life and laughter. Ruben felt a profound sense of fulfillment as he watched the new dynamics unfold. The companionship and support that had come from his initial act of kindness had grown into something much larger, enriching the lives of everyone involved. Ruben's offer touched Consuelo deeply. Her eyes glistened with emotion as she looked at him. "I truly appreciate this, Ruben. It's not just about the money, it's about the respect and dignity you're giving us. I haven't had this kind of support in so long." Ruben smiled warmly. "You've earned it, Consuelo. Your dedication and hard work are invaluable. I want you and your daughter to have the best chance at a stable, happy life. This is just a small way to show my gratitude for everything you've done." As the weeks went by, the household settled into a comfortable routine. Consuelo took pride in her new role, and her bond with Ruben's father grew stronger. They often spent time together, sharing stories and laughter, and Consuelo's daughter quickly adapted to her new surroundings, bringing joy and energy to the home. Ruben noticed a positive change in the atmosphere. The house, once quiet and lonely, was now filled with warmth and activity. The sense of community and mutual support enriched everyone's lives. Ruben felt content knowing he had made a meaningful difference and that Consuelo and her daughter had found a place where they could thrive. One evening, as Ruben and Consuelo sat together in the living room, reflecting on their journey, Consuelo spoke with a sense of fulfillment. I never imagined that things could turn out like this. I'm so grateful for the opportunity you've given us. It feels like a dream." Ruben nodded, his expression reflective. It's amazing how things can change. Sometimes, what starts as a simple act of kindness can create a ripple effect of positive change. I'm glad we could help each other. Consuelo smiled warmly. And it's more than just a home for us. It's a chance to rebuild our lives with hope and support. I feel like we're part of something bigger now. Ruben agreed, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. That's exactly what I hoped for. To create a space where we can all support each other and grow together. As they continued their conversation, the connection between them deepened. Both Ruben and Consuelo recognized the profound impact their actions had on one another's lives. It was a reminder of the power of empathy and kindness, and how such values could forge meaningful relationships and bring light into even the darkest of situations. The months that followed were filled with shared experiences and mutual support. The home became a place where hope, connection, and happiness thrived. Ruben, Consuelo, and her daughter found solace and joy in their newfound family dynamic, and Ruben felt a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment from the bonds they had built together. Ruben took a deep breath, his emotions swirling as he tried to find the right words. "Consuelo, over the past few months, we've shared so many moments. I've seen how much you've grown and how much joy you've brought into my life and my father's. Being around you and Clara has made me realize something important." He paused, feeling a mix of vulnerability and determination. "I've come to realize that I have strong feelings for you. I care about you deeply and find myself thinking about you more and more. I don't want to hide these feelings anymore. I need to tell you that I'm in love with you." Consuelo's eyes widened in surprise, and she looked down for a moment, processing his words. Ruben continued, "I understand that this might come as a shock, and I don't want to make things awkward between us. I just needed you to know how I feel. If you don't feel the same way, I'll respect that and we can continue as we have. But I needed to be honest with you." Consuelo's heart raced as she listened to Ruben's confession. She had been grappling with her feelings and was unsure of how to navigate them. After a few moments of silence, she looked up at Ruben with a mixture of emotion and relief. "Ruben, I didn't expect this. I've been feeling the same way, but I was hesitant to say anything. I didn't want to risk our friendship or make things complicated." Ruben's face lit up with a hopeful smile. "So you do feel the same?" Consuelo nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "Yes, I do. I've fallen for you too. Your kindness and the way you've been there for us have touched my heart in ways I never thought possible." A wave of relief and joy washed over Ruben. He reached out and gently took Consuelo's hand. "I'm so glad to hear that. I've been wanting to share my feelings with you for a while now, and I'm relieved that you feel the same." They shared a tender moment of understanding, their hands still intertwined. The warmth of their connection was palpable, and it felt like a new chapter was beginning for both of them. Ruben leaned in and kissed Consuelo softly, a gesture that expressed the depth of his emotions. As they pulled back, Consuelo smiled, her eyes shining with happiness. "We have a lot to look forward to, don't we?" Ruben nodded, his heart full of hope. "Yes, we do. I'm excited to see where this journey takes us, together." The evening continued with a newfound sense of closeness and possibility. Ruben and Consuelo's relationship had taken a significant turn, and both were filled with anticipation for the future they would build together. The love they had discovered in each other's company was a testament to the power of connection, healing, and the unexpected turns life can take when least expected. The evening at Sandra's house unfolded with a mixture of grandeur and tension. The dinner table was set elegantly, and the atmosphere, though visually stunning, felt somewhat sterile. Sandra's attention to detail was apparent in every corner, from the pristine table settings to the carefully chosen art pieces adorning the walls. As they took their seats, Sandra made small talk, attempting to create a pleasant environment. However, Consuelo sensed an undercurrent of scrutiny in Sandra's questions and comments, which seemed to focus more on probing than on genuine interest. Ruben, ever the diplomat, skillfully navigated the conversation, making an effort to keep the mood light and engaging. The conversation touched on various topics, from art to travel, but Consuelo couldn't shake the feeling of being the subject of whispered judgments. Sandra's questions often veered towards Consuelo's past, though framed in a seemingly innocent manner. Consuelo answered as gracefully as she could, determined not to let any discomfort show. As the evening progressed, Sandra's guests mingled and engaged in lively discussions, but the undercurrent of judgment remained palpable. Despite this, Ruben remained steadfastly by Consuelo's side, offering support and encouragement. He made sure to include her in conversations and shield her from any overtly critical remarks. After the dinner, Sandra led them on a tour of her home, showcasing her collection of rare art pieces and architectural models. Consuelo admired the artistry and craftsmanship, but couldn't ignore the feeling that Sandra was subtly trying to highlight her status and accomplishments in contrast to Consuelo's past. When the tour concluded, Sandra expressed her pleasure at having them. "It was lovely having you both. I hope you enjoyed the evening," she said with a polite smile, though her eyes hinted at something less sincere. As Ruben and Consuelo prepared to leave, Consuelo took a deep breath, feeling a mix of relief and resolve. The evening had been challenging, but she was grateful for Ruben's support and the opportunity to experience Sandra's world, however daunting it might have been. Outside, as they walked to their car, Ruben turned to Consuelo, his expression reflecting a blend of concern and reassurance. "I'm sorry if tonight was uncomfortable. I know Sandra can be a bit particular." Consuelo smiled, touched by Ruben's consideration. "It was an experience, but I'm glad we went. I appreciate your support, Ruben. It means a lot to me." Ruben nodded, his eyes warm with affection. "You handled yourself wonderfully. And remember, no matter what anyone else thinks, you and Clara are a cherished part of my life." As they drove away from Sandra's house, Consuelo felt a renewed sense of gratitude for Ruben's unwavering support and for the love they were building together. The evening had been a trial, but it also reinforced their bond and the strength of their relationship. The challenges they faced together only deepened their connection and commitment to each other, reminding them that their love was built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. As Ruben and Consuelo sat in silence after the shocking revelation, they were both grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. The quiet of their home was punctuated only by the soft hum of the night, a stark contrast to the dramatic revelations of the evening. Consuelo, her mind racing, found it hard to process the fact that Sandra was her mother. The photograph from the past and Sandra's emotional confession left her reeling. Ruben, sensing her turmoil, gently held her hand, trying to offer comfort amid her confusion. His support was a beacon of stability amidst the storm of feelings. Ruben, Consuelo finally whispered, her voice trembling, "I don't know what to think. How could this happen? Why was I taken away from her?" Ruben squeezed her hand reassuringly. "I don't know all the answers, but I'm here for you. We'll face this together. We can start by learning more about this story, and you can decide how to move forward." Consuelo nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "I just need some time to process this. It's so overwhelming." The next day, Ruben suggested they take some time to reflect and then approach Sandra to learn more about her story and the circumstances surrounding Consuelo's adoption. They agreed that understanding the full picture might provide clarity and help them navigate this new reality. When they met with Sandra again, she was waiting with a mix of hope and apprehension. She offered them more details about her past, sharing how she had been a young mother who had faced immense hardship and loss. Her journey to find Consuelo had been long and fraught with obstacles, and her emotional confession was a culmination of years of searching and longing. As Sandra spoke, Consuelo listened with a heavy heart, trying to reconcile the mother she had never known with the woman she had just met. Sandra's pain and regret were evident, and Consuelo could see the depth of her longing for a reunion that had never materialized until now. "I'm so sorry for everything you've been through," Consuelo Sandra said, her voice breaking. "I wanted to be there for you, but circumstances were beyond my control. I've spent years trying to find you, and now that I've finally found you, I want to make amends and be a part of your life." Consuelo took a deep breath, her emotions still raw but beginning to settle into a more manageable state. "It's a lot to take in. I need to figure out what this means for me and my life. But I'm willing to try to understand and see where this leads." Ruben, standing by Consuelo's side, added, "We all have a lot to process, but we can start by taking small steps. We're here to support each other and work through this together." In the days that followed, Consuelo began to explore her new relationship with Sandra, slowly integrating her mother into her life while maintaining the stability she had with Ruben. The journey was emotional and complex, marked by moments of reconciliation and understanding, as well as challenges and adjustments. Through it all, Ruben remained a steadfast pillar of support for Consuelo, helping her navigate the emotional landscape of newfound family connections. Their bond grew stronger as they faced the trials together, discovering new depths of love and commitment in the process. The experience also deepened Consuelo's understanding of her own identity and the impact of her past on her present. It became a journey of healing and self-discovery as she embraced the unexpected turn of events and worked towards forging a new path with Sandra and Ruben by her side. As they moved forward, Consuelo and Ruben found solace in their shared strength and the unbreakable bond they had built, knowing that, despite the challenges, they had each other to rely on as they navigated this new chapter in their lives. The atmosphere in Sandra's spacious home, once marked by the tension and weight of the revelations, now held a new sense of hope and renewal. Consuelo's heart was overwhelmed with a mix of gratitude and wonder as she absorbed Sandra's promises and intentions. "I can't believe this is happening," Consuelo said softly, her voice choked with emotion. "I never imagined that after everything, I would be given such a chance." Sandra's eyes were full of warmth as she looked at Consuelo. "Sometimes, life gives us unexpected opportunities to heal and start anew. I want to make sure you have every chance to fulfill your dreams, and I want to be part of that journey." Ruben, who had been silently observing the heartfelt exchange, felt a profound sense of relief and happiness for Consuelo. The burdens of the past were beginning to lift, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. He reached out to take Consuelo's hand, squeezing it gently in a gesture of support. "Thank you, Sandra," Ruben said, his voice filled with genuine appreciation. "This is more than we could have hoped for, and I'm grateful for your generosity and the love you're showing to Consuelo and Clarina." Sandra smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek. "It's my pleasure, Ruben. I've spent so many years longing for this moment, and now that it's here, I want to make the most of it. I hope we can create new memories together and build a future filled with joy and love." As the evening continued, the tension that had once defined their interactions began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of connection and optimism. Consuelo and Sandra shared stories and dreams, finding common ground in their aspirations and desires for the future. Consuelo, despite her initial shock, began to envision her future with a renewed sense of purpose. The opportunity to study architecture, a dream she had long harbored, seemed within reach. The idea of Clarina growing up with Sandra's guidance and affection added another layer of happiness to her heart. In the days that followed, Consuelo began preparing for her new journey, enrolling in the architecture program with Sandra's support. The prospect of studying and building a future in a field she was passionate about filled her with excitement and hope. Ruben continued to be a steadfast partner, supporting her every step of the way and sharing in the joy of the new chapter they were embarking on. The family dynamic that had once been fraught with pain and uncertainty was transforming into something beautiful and meaningful. Consuelo, Sandra, and Ruben worked together to nurture their relationships, finding strength and comfort in their new connections. As they moved forward, they embraced the challenges and joys that came with their intertwined lives, knowing that they had the power to create a brighter, more fulfilling future together. In one of the many warm and tender exchanges that marked their evolving relationship, Sandra and Consuelo found themselves sharing a moment that would linger in their hearts for years to come. As Clary played innocently in the garden, her laughter echoing like music through the air, Sandra's heart swelled with a mixture of hope and vulnerability. She turned to Consuelo, her eyes soft yet intense, and with a voice trembling slightly from the weight of her emotions, she confided, "You know, my greatest dream now that I've found you would be to be embraced and loved as a mother by you. I understand, though, that this is still so new, so fresh. And I want to give you all the time and space you need. But please know this, I will dedicate myself wholeheartedly to earning that cherished title. I will do everything in my power to be deserving of it." Consuelo, who had always prided herself on her composure, found her heart unexpectedly stirred by Sandra's words. For a moment, she was at a loss for words, overwhelmed by the sincerity and depth of Sandra's confession. When she finally spoke, her voice was thick with emotion, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Sandra," she began, her voice soft but filled with conviction, "you're already doing so much, more than you could ever know. Every thoughtful gesture, every kind word, it all means the world to me. I've seen your heart, and I do not doubt that as time goes on. We will only grow closer. You've already begun to carve out a place in my life, and I'm certain that our bond will only deepen with time." As time wove its gentle patterns into the fabric of their lives, Sandra and Consuelo's relationship grew, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet, consistent acts of love and care that passed between them. What began as tentative steps toward one another gradually blossomed into a profound connection that neither had anticipated but both deeply cherished. Consuelo, who had always been guarded with her heart, found herself increasingly drawn to Sandra's warmth and sincerity. She became a frequent visitor to Sandra's home, where each visit seemed to further solidify the bond they were building. Within the walls of Sandra's home, a sense of family began to take root, nurtured by the laughter and joy that Clarina brought with her. The little girl, who had once been shy and reserved, now radiated happiness, her giggles filling the house with a light that had long been absent. She adored Sandra, feeling completely at ease in her presence, and the bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. Sandra, in turn, found herself loving Clarina as though she were her own, finding in her the daughter she had always longed for. The once quiet and solitary home was now alive with the sounds of playful chatter, the pitter-patter of little feet, and the warmth of a love that had been missing from both Sandra's and Consuelo's lives for far too long. Years flowed by like a gentle river, and as time passed, the bond between Sandra and Consuelo only grew stronger, deepening into something that resembled the very relationship Sandra had once dreamed of. Their connection had evolved naturally, organically, into a family one not bound by blood but by love, trust, and mutual respect. As the years went by, Consuelo reached a pivotal moment in her life. She was on the cusp of completing her architecture degree, a dream she had nurtured for years despite the many obstacles life had thrown her way. The journey had been anything but easy. There had been late nights spent poring over blueprints, moments of doubt that threatened to derail her, and challenges that seemed insurmountable. Yet through it all, she had persevered, driven by an unwavering determination to succeed. And now, the day had finally arrived, her graduation day, a day that symbolized not just the end of her studies, but the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The graduation ceremony was a grand affair, filled with the people who had played a role in her journey, professors who had guided her, friends who had supported her, and family who had stood by her side. As she walked down the aisle towards the stage, the significance of the moment washed over her like a wave. She felt a swell of pride in her chest, not just for what she had accomplished, but for the person she had become. Alongside that pride was an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the people who had believed in her, even when she had doubted herself. As she approached the stage, Consuelo's eyes scanned the sea of faces, searching for three people who meant the world to her. First, there was her husband, the man who had been her rock, her unwavering support through thick and thin. His love had been a constant source of strength, helping her to keep going even on the toughest days. Then her eyes found her father-in-law, a man who had stepped into the role of a father figure when she needed it most. His guidance and wisdom had been invaluable to her, and she knew that she wouldn't be where she was today without him. Finally, she looked for Sandra, the woman who had not only supported her through her architectural journey, but had also become like a mother to her, a relationship she had once only dreamed of, but now was a reality. Sandra's belief in her had fueled her ambition, and her love had given her the courage to pursue her dreams. As Consuelo stood on that stage, diploma in hand, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had been worth every challenge and every sleepless night. Looking out into the audience, she saw not just a crowd of people, but the faces of those who had helped her along the way. And in that moment, surrounded by the love and support of those she cherished, Consuelo knew that she had not just earned a degree, but had also built a life filled with love, family, and a future that was bright with possibility. The laughter that had once filled Sandra's home now filled Consuelo's heart, a testament to the enduring power of love and the strength of the bonds they had all formed together. As Consuelo stepped onto the stage, a wave of anticipation washed over her. The audience hushed in expectation, their eyes fixed on her as she prepared to speak. With a heart full of emotion, she began, her voice trembling with sincerity. "Today, I stand before you not just because of my efforts, but because of the incredible support from some very special people." She paused, gathering her thoughts, then continued, "To my husband, who has been my unwavering pillar, always by my side, encouraging me to chase my dreams no matter the obstacles, and to my father-in-law, who welcomed me into his life with open arms, treating me like his own daughter, offering me strength when I needed it most." As she spoke, her eyes searched the crowd until they found the familiar face of Sandra. A lump formed in her throat, and she took a deep breath before saying, "And of course, my dear mother, Sandra. Mom, you gave me far more than just the opportunity to pursue my studies. You gave me a home, a love that knew no bounds, and the family I had always longed for." Her voice cracked with emotion as she uttered these words, and the entire room seemed to hold its breath. Sandra, sitting among the audience, felt her heart swell with an overwhelming mix of pride, love, and disbelief. The moment Consuelo called her mom, tears welled up in her eyes, and she instinctively covered her face with her hands, unable to contain the flood of emotions that washed over her. The tears flowed freely, not from sadness, but from a deep soul-stirring joy that she had never experienced before. It was a moment that transcended words, a moment of pure, unadulterated connection. When Consuelo concluded her speech, the room erupted in applause, but all she could see was Sandra, whose face was streaked with tears. Sandra was visibly moved, her entire being consumed by the depth of Consuelo's words. To be called mother by the woman she had come to love as a daughter was the culmination of years of longing, pain, and hope that had finally blossomed into something beautiful and undeniable. As the ceremony drew to a close, Sandra, still overcome with emotion, made her way toward Consuelo. When they finally reached each other, they embraced tightly, a hug that spoke volumes, a hug that healed years of distance and heartache. "My daughter," Sandra whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "you've completed me in ways I never thought possible." You filled a void in my heart that I didn't even know existed." Consuelo, holding Sandra close, replied softly, "Mom, you've shown me the true meaning of what it is to have a family, to be loved unconditionally. I am eternally grateful for everything you've given me, for the love you've poured into my life." They left the graduation ceremony hand in hand, a powerful sense of renewal and hope filling their hearts. They both knew that from this moment on, their lives would be infinitely richer, their bond unbreakable. Their story was more than just a tale of two women finding each other. It was a testament to the enduring power of maternal love, a love that crosses all boundaries and overcomes every obstacle. A love that never gives up, no matter what life may bring. Thank you for joining us in this heartfelt journey through Consuelo and Sandra's touching story. We hope this powerful narrative has resonated with you and offered you valuable insights into the depth of maternal love and the importance of nurturing meaningful connections. As we reflect on this story, we invite you to consider, what lessons have you drawn from this journey? How can you apply these insights to your own life and relationships? We'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you've learned from this video and how you plan to bring it into practice in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and found it inspiring, please leave your comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue to create and share more stories that touch hearts and make a difference. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more uplifting content soon.